All right, hey, I'm Craig Ford, here again with Meet the Staff, John Moore. I wish you could read these notes he wrote down. Number one is kangaroo.
That's right.
So,
no surprises.
yeah, so we talked about our lanes and what we did in our other two interviews, and I just wanted, John's over public, Parks and Rec, and he's over a lot with the Parks and Rec. That's a beast in itself. But we have how many employees over there? About 120?
That's right. Probably 120, 130, and it goes from Noccalula Falls to the ball fields out back, of Gadsden State, the downtown community centers, the events, the rentals. I mean, when you look at it, the landscaping that goes on across the city, the Parks and Rec kind of handles that type of stuff. So it's a huge department inside the city.
So let's knock off number one, kangaroo. Yeah. How about mentioning the kangaroo?
All right. So a couple of months ago, when we were working on what we were going to do up at the falls, the one thing that we had was the petting zoo, and the unfortunate, we went up there and visited the petting zoo, and there wasn't anything to pet. So at the end of the day, we said, well, what would be something cool that we could get, and Cindy Jones from the zoo up there had come to us and had said that she had some contacts on getting kangaroos, and you love that idea. I love the idea, so we reached out and found a sale that was going on, and she was able to go up and get one of those baby kangaroos, and she's actually she's been bottle feeding it.
You can't make it up.
No, she's been bottle feeding it in this little pouch for like the last 6 months. So I think she's weaning that off the bottle now, and so it should be in the pen in the next, I don't know.
So she carries around a burlap sack, and the kangaroo thinks he's in his mama's pouch.
Right.
And she sleeps with this kangaroo. This is one of our employees that goes beyond the call of duty.
There's no doubt, and I think it's gotten to the point with her is that she doesn't want to let the kangaroo go, and so she's actually prolonging and weaning it off the bottle.
Yeah.
So. But she is, I think, scheduled to be up there the next 2 weeks. So hopefully, this summer when you're out and you've got something to do with the kids, you can go up and visit the kangaroos.
And is this a male or female?
This is a female one, and we're actually working on trying to get a male version of our kangaroo up there.
So are we getting in the breeding business?
I don't know. We'll see. It seems to be pretty good money.
Yeah. So these kangaroos. So we didn't have a budget for them. So I said, let's take it out of the mayor's budget. Yeah. I said we got to have a kangaroo. So we did look at monkeys. Monkeys are high right now.
16,000.
It's 16,000 per monkey. So
yeah.
We're going to play the stock market on the monkeys.
Yeah, we might have to
wait till they come back down.
And we might sell a couple of kangaroos and then.
Yeah, then we can raise some money for the monkeys. But this is a lot of fun. But one thing is, unfortunately, this is sad. When the petting zoo burned down, they only secured like $450,000 off the insurance, and we just bid it out, and it came in around $1.2 million. So you do the math. About $750,000 short. Well, you just don't have that in the budget.
No.
So I was able to work. We're working with the insurance department here, and we're also working with our current insurance company. And I think we found some way, and that's what I do for a living on the side. But
right.
To work with the company that we have to generate some more revenue to be paid to the city
right.
for the insurance. So I think we're going to get there. Yeah. I think we're going to get close to our number, and then we're going to build that petting zoo back pretty quick. So. That's the plan. We already bid it out. We got a contractor, the same contractor who's done a lot of the work at Gadsden State and some other areas who does a great job. The gorge steps is something we didn't write down.
That's right.
Which is a big deal for the fly fishermen and the people going down to the falls. It's a safety issue, but also it's going to be real nice.
And it's on that side of the campground area now, so that when campers come in, they'll have an easier access to the gorge.
Yes.
And so we've already had the steps that were on that other side. So with the steps going on this side, it really makes it accessible on both sides. And with those, like you said, those trout fishermen that come down and fly fish every year, and I think we're about to restock again.
And that brings in a ton of tourism dollars, and people don't understand. So when we let that contract, nobody bid on it.
Right.
And so we had to go to this gentleman, Bob, and ask him, would he do it? He said, I'll do it. He gave us a price, and it was very fair.
Yeah.
So we're fortunate.
Yeah, that guy
to
does
have
a good job.
He does a great job for Gadsden, and so do all our contractors. So John, hit us on the campground.
All right.
That's
so
a big
that is a huge thing. I think we had talked about it in the past so with the falls lighting, the Christmas lights at the falls, it generates somewhere over about close to $800,000 to $1 million a year, and so over the past several years, they've always just kind of earmarked that money to be reinvested back into the falls. And so when you came on board, you had a great idea of taking that money and let's just go borrow, $15 million, and then we'll just dedicate that money every year to paying that note on the loan. So the campground was one of the first things that they were really wanting to redo. And so we've got with Goodwin Mills and Kaywood, and they've given us the drawings. And I'm going to be honest with you, they're going to spend over $1 million just on the swimming pool. That's going to be a huge thing as far as a centerpiece for the campground. And all the amenities that come with camping, and then also having that centered right there inside the Falls Park. Man, it's going to be something.
We're going to redo the entrance going in there
Yeah.
because it's kind of all messed up, and we're going to redo the signage. We're going to redo the fire station up there
Yeah,
to make
that's
it
right.
look a log cabin facade. Just the sewage and draining
Yeah.
at the campground was $2.8 million.
Right, and it's just breaking stone. That's what people don't
Yeah.
realize. It's
If you've ever ran for office and campaigned on the mountain,
Yeah.
try driving a campaign sign in somebody's yard because you're hitting rock.
the whole time.
Yeah, so you just nail it to a tree. And I'm just kidding, but but that's we got a lot going on the campground side, but then we're still having money for the other side too.
Sure.
We're talking about doing some retail side over there. We're talking about sprucing up some area on the other side also.
Right.
So
Looking for a restaurant possibly
Yes.
that would go on the side where the gift shop is to offer a little bit more amenities when people are coming in to visit the falls. They can go eat, they can go shop, they can get an ice cream, they can do all kinds of different things and really make it more of a state park, national park kind of feel. So
but some of the stuff that you've been able to work with Jen and the platforms and what explain that.
the train platforms, and so as the train comes into the station right behind the gift shop, that whole area now will be a huge enclosed area for you to get on the trains. It'll be heated and it'll be cooled, so no matter what part of the weather it is, especially during the Christmas at the falls, and when it gets really, really cold like it did this past year, people will be able to stay warm as they're waiting on the train.
So we're gonna stay with Parks and Rec, but John he's also over Fleet, which is a big deal. It's a bear in itself, and Kathy does a good job down there. But John was instrumental in helping us find new police vehicles and some new vehicles for city employees by selling older vehicles in Fleet.
Yeah, that's right.
Instead of keeping a boneyard down there. And he also located the 2 old trains and
sold one of them.
sold one off for $28,000.
That's right. And the second one we just sent to engineering to get the platform built that'll actually be up there behind the jacks at the falls that are in that little circular area where the train comes around, and the train will have a enclosure or a roof on it so that folks it'll be set up for photos, photo op type thing.
So I think that's one. It'll have a not trail car, a rail car attached.
That's
to it,
right. And then there'll actually be a story board set up of explaining the whole thing about the trains and what all it did for Gadsden.
I think that's a great idea. Sure. So we sold one. We were able to put part of that money towards some other money. That bought us one police car.
Yeah.
So we're doing some creative financing and trying to do whatever we can do. But I thought that'll be a draw too. So we're redoing the whole facade up there. They call it the Gateway. I think they're going to have arches going up and down the mountain.
That's right.
They've had these plans for quite a while. We're just going to implement the plans.
That's right.
It was a no-brainer by taking the money. We're taking the money that's developed by the falls and putting it back into the falls.
And like somebody told us one time, we can, no matter how much money we spend or invest in the falls, we're going to get that money back
going to get it
tenfold.
back. That's
So it's a
right.
great investment every time we invest inside that falls.
So let's strike that one. Let's
get
can
to
you
the next
tell
one.
we're visual people here?
That's right.
How about summer concert series?
So summer concert series is something that happens during the summertime, thus the name. And so it goes on Friday nights. It usually starts off about 9 o'clock after First Friday ends on Broad Street. And then there is usually a themed band that's going to be playing each night. There will be a country night, a Motown night, and an 80s rock night. This year, you've already known is that we started with a concert in May, which was Montgomery Gentry this year,
And Bill Avery.
and Bill Avery, and we had huge crowds for that concert. So I think that the concert series, and as we revamped the amphitheater, and we had improvements to it because that's actually in design right now with engineering, is to redo the Moss Glawson amphitheater.
Mort Glosser.
There you go.
That's a mouthful.
Mort Glosser amphitheater. That's in engineering now. So as soon as we get those designs back and we can allocate the money or find the money to do those improvements. I'm telling you, that will be a great venue to
Yes.
continue to have big music.
So one thing
festivals.
we did, we asked Public Works to go and pressure wash. We asked them to paint the curves, just put a little lipstick on. And
It
I
looks
think
brand new. It looks brand new.
It looks beautiful. And when we say put money into it, we're not talking about changing anything, the facade or anything to that nature. We're talking about adding on to it.
Right.
It's one thing I thought about doing, and it's just one of my crazy ideas I come up with. I wanted to add some boxes along the top
Yeah.
on the road up there.
We're
And
talking
then
about doing
sell,
shipping container
yeah,
boxes.
shipping containers, put the rock facade on the back where it matches, and then
Yeah.
sell them for corporate sponsors to be able
That's
to
right.
have boxes, kind of like they do at Jefferson Civic Center and
Right.
some other place. But and that money generated would go right back into the amphitheater. So,
And then we talked about, right there where the Patriots Association
Yeah.
room, moving that more into a concession stand type area so we could serve different items during concerts.
that's right.
And so, and then using the courtyard outside of the amphitheater to use, kind of have a high top tables to where people could stand out there between acts.
And
or
we got to redo the bathrooms.
Yeah,
and
that's
we're working on those. But and then also John is he's not my appointment to the tourism board, but he also represents the mayor's office tourism board, which is located there. We have a new interim tourism director, which we're excited about. So we're lucky to get her, Tanette
Wow.
Lynch out of Birmingham. I think she's with us for about 90 days.
That's right.
And she's coming in to clean up some stuff and identify a new job description for a new tourism director to help present to the tourism board. But we're just a small integral part of the tourism board. There are appointments made from all over the county. But I want to thank you for what you've done in that area. I was excited to see the change in that
Tanette's
department.
she's pretty special.
She's a firecracker.
She is. She really is. She serves on the Birmingham Convention Center organization.
Yeah.
And she's been in tourism for years and years and years, and she actually was the director for Hoover, the city of Hoover's tourism.
And she was on the state tourism board when
yeah.
I was in the legislature. I mean, she
Yeah.
knows her stuff.
And the great thing, so we got her to come in and kind of help us for 90 days. She's trying to help recruit tourism director from across the state. She was able to, kind of set up what the salary spec should be, what the jobs description should be. She's reaching out to people that she knows across the state. So without her, we wouldn't be able to get into those doors.
That's right.
And so she's able to go and pitch Gadsden to some of these folks who might not typically want to come to Gadsden to be a tourism director. So she's out helping recruit those folks. She's given us some ideas on maybe recruiting conventions or maybe why we don't recruit sporting events more. And so she's kind of given us a little bit more of an insight on what we should be doing there. So that's been awesome as well.
So you gave me two lanes to lead into. So I'm gonna lead into the worst one first. So we had an option at the Gadsden State Ball Field Complex
Yeah.
when we took over in November. I think we've been in office a little more than 6 months. 6 months and 1 week and 2 days and 4. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But it's been a good ride so far, and they spent, the previous administration and us combined spent $20 million on that complex over there. Phenomenal, beautiful. It's what we've been needing for a long
Top
time.
notch.
The problem is a lot of the turf is done in Alabama and could have been done in Florida. It's a sand base, and when I learned more about turf than I ever cared about learning.
Right.
But you put the nutrients on it. As soon as you sprinkle it, it rains off. The guy that was cutting the grass left a year ago. So there's a great guy over there that cuts grass now. But apparently you got to cut this grass. You got to raise the blade an inch every month. There's a lot going on over there. There's
Right.
drainage in the outfield issues that we're dealing with. So we've got a beautiful facility. We just got to fix the turf.
Right. That's right.
And you dealt with the baseball side, and I dealt
Right.
with the soccer side one day. But
No doubt.
we got some work we're doing over there. We're going to make it work. I promise you. Jonathan Copelandscapes has come on contract, and he's helping us aerate the fields, telling us what we got to do. It's just little things like when you cut the grass, you have to make sure you blow the grass off.
Right.
We found out we didn't have a blower that was strong enough. We don't have a tractor with turf tires.
Right.
So we're having to purchase all this equipment to be able to run this complex. And I remember you saying we don't want a $20 million complex and have $200 worth of equipment to try to keep
right.
it up, or we're going to have a $2 million complex.
That's exactly right.
You want to hit on that complex at all, or anything you want to say about it?
I think you hit on was the turf, and I think the great thing was whenever we're adding those 2 extra fields back there, and after you saw the problems we were having with turf, you automatically flipped over and went to artificial turf.
Said turf it.
Yeah,
turf
and
it,
so
turf it.
yeah, that's right. So I think having kind of pivoting at that moment, but there's so many different things that's so many possibilities back there. You've talked about putting a campground back there. We've talked about doing a shipping container park with restaurants that sit around on the backside of that boat launch. I think that's really an attraction that once it does get completed, that somebody like in that tourism director spot could go out and help us market that ball field.
I mean, how many cities would want to have a boat launch on it or a river?
Yeah,
and we're not utilizing the boat launch or the river.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And so everybody would love to have a complex. There's a lot of cities out there that would love to have a complex just like what we've got, or would love to have a river along the side of that complex. And when we've got both, and then we've got the natural resources of a falls sitting up on top of the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, and then a downtown that's thriving as well. I mean, so I think that the city of Gadsden's got more than most cities have, and it's just exciting the fact that we've got that to market, and we've got to do a better job of marketing to the outside.
So one thing you came up with, and Kay Moore with DGI, was a new route during the summer or during spring to fall, and we're calling it the Gadabout.
That's right.
The Gadabout. I think.
That's hooked on phonics, right?
Either one of us never won spelling bee. But it's a route just for tourists for First Fridays in Noccalula Falls, because our current trolley system didn't go to the falls. It didn't go to First Fridays, and had a lot of people with ADA issues that could not come to First Friday, could not go to the falls, and
that's right.
That was a no-go in my book. And I said, we're going to fix that. So I appreciate you handling that. But
it'll be good because it'll be targeting towards the campgrounds for folks coming in. It'll be targeting some of the different trolley stops that typically would not have a chance to get to downtown. So it's a tourist type of
and it'll
trolley.
go to the complex behind Gadsden State too. But the parking was the other thing. I want y'all to know we are working on the parking. Met with Dr. Murphy. She is working with us, and it's been a great partnership with her. Listen, we're fortunate to have her. I don't know what we'd do without her, but she wants to see us prosper. She wants to see us succeed. But so we lease that property from them for 20 years, and we have a 20-year lease on top of it. The last thing is we just got back from another convention. Somebody asked me, and they said, boy, I'd love to go to those conventions. I said, look at my eyes, You put ice packs on them. But it's a lot of work.
Full-legged sprint for 3 days.
Yeah, it is, and it's fun. We enjoy it. But one thing we talked about was defining our narrative when we got elected. And you came from Spectrum, and you've been in advertising and media all that time. But I was impressed, John, we went to an Alabama reception. And it was people from all around the state, and they were coming to us and saying, man, y'all got it going on up there. Y'all got things happening.
So there's a couple of box stores that we had talked to that was interested in possibly locating in Gadsden. There was on Monday we talked to a steakhouse chain that they said that we were the first on their list now, and we had maps and aerial views of the city of Gadsden, so we were able to really show them what Restaurant Row looked like in front of the mall, and maybe down through off of East Meagan down in front of Goodyear, and that whole landscape in front of Walmart. And so I was able to just sit down and actually pitch all of Gadsden and with aerial views. And so we had several hits. We've got some folks in Canterbury Station that's getting ready to sign a deal. We've got the steakhouse. We've got a couple of box stores that's considering that we've got to go after. We talked with the folks at the mall. I think there's big things that are coming to the mall. I wish I could talk about that.
Too.
But so I guess that's the hardest part about when you're in commercial development or economic development, is that so all this stuff and you get so excited about it, you just want to go out and just tell everybody,
That's right.
But you got to kind of keep it to yourself, and so sometimes you just about want to bust. But
I got to be honest with you, the mall was what me and you talk about the mall all the time, but the mall was what impressed me the most.
Yeah,
their vision and what they're doing about to do tomorrow.
Right.
So. I mean, because that's prime property, and that's a kind of a staple of our community. But
Right.
and then the two big box stores are phenomenal.
Right.
You know, and I'll go ahead and tell you, I searched out Sam's, and I had a meeting with them, and
Right.
they do not want to come to Gadsden. Nothing against us, but
Right.
it's our demographics. I tried to explain to them, if you
Just
look at our
doesn't fit,
demographics, it's not going to fit. But I guarantee you, we'll be your top store. Listen, we're salespeople,
Right.
and we did all we could. So, because I want a Sam so bad you can't see straight. But we're going to get
Sometimes you take
something
no.
else. Yeah, sometimes you take no and get told yes next year.
That's right.
But we're not letting up either. So, but we want to thank Lisa Osborne. She set up a lot of appointments for us before she left commercial development. For you that are out there, commercial development is going to be revisited, rehashed with the mayor's office. It will no longer look like it has before. The board will no longer look like it is currently. We're going to change the way we do commercial development for the city of Gadsden and in the mayor's office, and that'll be reflected in the October 1 budget. So there's no secrets there. I just want to let people know that, because there's a new way of doing business when you're recruiting commercial developments, per se. And, but you're instrumental in that. You're good at it. But you got anything else you want to add?
The only last thing I want to talk about is the G.
Yeah.
Is that when we came on board, I think the city was, the only thing we really lacked was having what I would consider a logo or anything like that. So we were able to get with Copperwing, who was a marketing department it was kind of funded under the whole master plan through Goodwin Mills and Kaywood. And they were able to help us come up with the G, to help with the Gadsden logo. And then we'll also be able to come out and present the colors of the city and different a branding package that we'll be able to take out and actually start branding the city of Gadsden. And so I think that's pretty exciting, because it just gives us a new look. We'll have a fresh new paint job on the city, and we'll be pushing it towards the future. That's sort of what the G, the G comes around and as an arrow pointing upward. And that's where we're pushing Gadsden, is to grow upward. So,
we got a couple of airbrush T-shirts with the G.
Yeah, we look like we just came out of senior week at Panama City.
But we have fun. Yeah. All right. Well, listen. Thank y'all for having us, and thank you for allowing us to serve you.